Good evening. Welcome to the PoliticIt podcast. We've got Merrilee Boyack this week, and really nice of you to come up.
Thanks.
I've followed what you've been doing with pro-life movement in Utah, and I really appreciate the work you've done there. But to start with, let's talk a little bit about you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? Because I don't think people, at least my audience, really knows much.
Sure. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and ended up going to BYU. Got my degree in finance there, started law school there. Then I married and we moved to California, and I finished my law degree there. So I'm an estate planning attorney.
Oh.
I have 4 sons, and people are very familiar with my oldest, Connor Boyac. And so spent 32 years in California and finally fled the state 10 years ago.
You got out in time, didn't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I was very involved politically there, and so it was good to step away. It was kind of time.
So how did you get tied up with the pro-life movement?
Well, I've been a speaker and a writer. I've written, over a dozen books. And so I've been involved with family issues for a very long time. In California, I was very politically active there. I was a regional coordinator for Prop 22 and Prop 8, the traditional marriage.
Right.
And, was on city council, did a lot of political involvement there with families. And I, this issue has been calling to me for quite a while. When I have to laugh though, I moved to Utah and I thought, oh good, I can take a break. And no, there was just as much need here for protection.
So had that already started? Was Mary involved at that point?
No, when I moved here, I was going to take a break, and the good Lord told me no. So I started by getting involved with Family Watch International, which is a global organization. I was their executive director for several years, and working on pro-family, pro-life work at the United Nations and with delegates from all over the world. So I did that for a while, and then I felt the need in Utah to start a coalition of the pro-family groups. So I created the Empowered Families Coalition, uniting all the pro-family groups. And, it's been really wonderful. What was that? I don't know, about 7 or 8 years ago. They are still going strong and working well together. That doesn't always happen. Many states have turf wars and things fall apart, but I just attended a meeting three days ago with all of these organizations that are doing great work. But then I just felt that call in my heart to get more involved with pro-life. There's we're up to about 3,500 babies a year in Utah that are being killed through elective abortion. And I just had that epiphany. Well, actually, one day I was driving around the road and I thought, what would you do if you were truly courageous? And I thought, I don't know. And I thought about it and I thought, I'd take down Planned Parenthood and stop their killing of babies. And that kept coming for about 4 or 5 days of what would you do if you were courageous? And I kept having that thought. And finally I thought, okay, I need to do something. I need to do something. So I reached out to them. I'd been working with them in the coalition. So I reached out to the pro-life groups and ended up creating the Abortion Free Utah Coalition, uniting all the pro-life groups. Later, I was recruited by Pro-Life Utah itself, and I serve as their director of development.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. So I just, people always ask, how'd you get in this work?
You've got an event coming up.
Yes, we do. Saturday is our big event at 3:00 at Vineyard Park in the Vineyard Orem area. And how awesome is this? We've had our March for Life, right, for years,
right.
Protesting against Roe v. Wade in the dead of winter, and now we get to celebrate. And so we're having a wonderful family celebration.
Boy, I tell you that the bill that was passed in Utah, you were involved with that,
oh,
right?
Yes, very much so.
The trigger bill, basically. Mm-hmm. Who'd have known at that time?
Oh, yeah.
What was going to happen in the Supreme Court, right?
I remember. We're working on it.
Aligned.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable miracle, isn't it? Just miraculous.
Now, if we could get our
Utah court system to cooperate.
I think we need to pay a little bit more attention to that.
Yeah, that's been tough when you have one judge, Judge Stone, who will have to answer for his actions. who has been able to stymie the will of the people.
Yeah.
Very
well,
sad.
we had a bill last year that was
Again.
that basically put him on notice, but
Did it again.
he did it again. Didn't
Yeah, he did it again.
So why don't you explain a little bit about what that bill was and how it changes?
Sure. Our trigger bill was a ban on elective abortion, and we're always very careful to use that term. There are exceptions for, life of mother, rape, incest, and fetal anomalies, and
It
so
surprises me how few people know that we actually have exceptions.
Right, that we have exceptions. I know they're always like, oh, you're hardcore. I go, nope, we have these exceptions. They're like, what about the life of the mother? We have it, right? It's in there. So that bill passed, and we never dreamed that it would, go into effect, but, it went into effect for, like a whopping 24 hours. And Planned Parenthood and the ACLU are fighting.
Was that Carrie Ann that ran that bill?
Dan McKay, Senator Dan McKay, yeah, the two of them. So got that bill through. Like I say, it went into effect briefly. We do have, and then the injunction, they got an injunction from Judge Stone to stop that in its tracks. It's now wending its way through litigation. It'll take several years. Then this session, we passed.
So where do you think that ends up?
I think we win. I honestly do. I've read the complaint. I've read their legal briefs. They're using the same old tired arguments that were used in the Dobbs case federally. About the Constitution, and I think
I heard there was some twist in the Utah Constitution that they were trying to.
Not sufficient enough for them to prevail, in my opinion. I really think they're on thin ice on this one. So I think ultimately we prevail on that one. And then this session we passed the abortion clinic ban, saying that you had to have abortions in hospitals, and it cracks me up how they're arguing that that's so unsafe. I'm like, really?
To go to a hospital.
Right, to go to a hospital, and how all these hospitals are perfectly incapable of doing this. So anyway, they went running to Judge Stone again, got an injunction on that one. So both of those cases are wending their way through the court system.
Interesting. That it's fascinating to me that we have a system here where one judge really can slow
shut it down. Yeah.
And I mean, it sent a clear signal, I think, to the legislature in saying we're going to be a lot more careful about appointees to the bench.
I hope so. We got HJR 2 passed with Brady Brammer saying that you had to. It changed.
Why don't you explain that a little bit?
Right. So Utah used to just have the standard of granting an injunction of was there a serious concern. And so Judge Stone on the first case was able to use that legal argument, right, and say, well, there's a serious concern that these women will be harmed. He was dead silent on the fact that thousands of babies would be, harmed. It kind of, failed to discuss that issue. So anyway, this resolution was passed, moving Utah to the federal law, which says that the plaintiffs, the people, that are challenging this, have to have a substantial likelihood of prevailing. So he went after it again and said, nope, there's a substantial likelihood that they'll prevail on the abortion clinic ban. And again, I read the analysis and it was thin and weak. And I thought, no, you haven't, no. Yeah. No, I don't
know there
believe
were a
they'll
number
prevail.
of people in the legislature that were really kind of coiled back on that.
Yeah.
Because I thought what Brammer had done with that was really smart.
Great, absolutely. And frankly, that should be the standard. That should be the standard. You can't just get an injunction anytime you feel like it. An injunction stopping that law or putting a pause on it. So, I'm very pleased that he got that through.
We're going to take a break and we'll come back.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hey, gang. For all things Utah politics, make sure you tune in to PoliticIt, the greatest podcast around, with your host, Senator John Johnson. We'll see you soon. Ciao, baby.
Welcome back. We're talking with Merrilee Boyack. Great to have you up here. I've like I said before, I've been following what you're doing, the work with Mary Taylor and your work with raising money for this, for Pro-Life Utah. So let's talk about some of the other issues that are coming up. So what about the abortion pills? What's going to happen with that in Utah, do you think?
Yeah, the abortion bill is a tough one. So we can have laws saying you can't distribute, you can't get them, but the access to those, particularly internationally, is very easy, and it's very hard to shut that door. And it's been interesting tracking those abortion pills that they are using. One state, I think it was Texas, if I recall, did tracking on the complication rate. It was 60%. They are giving these out. They're giving them out to teenage girls. They're sending them home. And the consequences are really pretty horrific. And I don't think that they're trying to push telemedicine. They're trying to push this easy access. And I think that we have to be really super careful moving forward to protect the health of these women, to say, this isn't something you just take easily,
Right.
Without consequences. And so shutting that door is
Now
going to be tough.
that's different than the morning after pill.
Correct. This is a 2-step pill. You take one, and it basically terminates the life of the baby, and then the second one causes your body to expel the baby, and that is not an easy thing. It's very, very scary, and it's just something that we need to be super careful about. And I mean, I had one lady call, found out her 15-year-old daughter was expecting a baby, and her the girl's best friend's mother had gotten the pills to give to her without even talking to her mother. So these pills are going to be tough to control. And like I say, the consequences are dire. We're going to need, I think, further legislation on tracking consequences and side effects and all of that, to really be very, very careful on that one.
Well, I know you've worked with a lot of people in the legislature, and we've got some really good people that are very helpful on this.
Oh yeah,
issues,
we've got
right?
some terrific champions.
Yeah. So what are the other issues that you think are going to be on the table?
I think a big one, as we, and I hope we will prevail in this, I think an issue that's going to gain a little more attention will be the care for women with unplanned pregnancies. How do we provide care within our state? This has been something that Pro-Life Utah has worked on quite diligently. They provide a variety of services. They provide a life grant up to $3,000 to help with unexpected, expenses. They provide baby supplies for a year, constant support and mentoring, help with medical, legal, access to government agencies. There's this whole wide range of support. You go into Planned Parenthood, you get an abortion, and that's it. We even have abortion support groups, for post-abortive women. So I think that care portion is going to be critical. And the governor mentioned this when the trigger law went into effect. He said that it's very important to him that we care for women with unplanned pregnancies or vulnerable, pregnancies. So I'm working right now with the Lieutenant Governor's office in the Department of Health and Human Services in Utah. We just were working on that this week to have, I call it one-stop shopping, so that the women out there will have one place where they can see all the support systems that are available to them, so that they know other options. A lot of times when women are coming in for an abortion, the polling shows 75% are coming under pressure from either a boyfriend or a husband or a family member. They aren't going in there for the most part willingly wanting it. And so if we can say, look, all of this help is available for you. We're here to walk with you. Right. And to support you and to help you. That's going to be...
Which is what you need to do if you're going to...
That's what you want to do.
Right?
That's what's critically important. And so the legislature's behind that. The governor's office and lieutenant governor's office is behind that effort of making this support system available. Planned Parenthood's solution is give them money to drive over to Nevada. And our solution is no, let us help you. Let us walk with you. Let us support you so that you're not going to be filled with a life of regret, so that you know what your options are and you feel that safety net, right? That support for you.
Which is really, I would say, the Utah way. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't think there was ever any intent to say, yeah, we're going to outlaw abortions, but
And good luck, right? No.
Good luck with that, right?
And with our Abortion for Utah Coalition, we work with pregnancy resource centers that are throughout the state that also offer all kinds of services, parenting classes, and finance classes, and free ultrasounds, and all of this support is out there and available. And now having it all on this website with the state, now everyone can see it and know, oh wow, look at what's here to help me. We think that'll save lives.
One of the areas I think that comes up a lot, especially with teenagers, is what about adoption services?
So we work with a couple of attorneys. In fact, I was just on the phone this morning with one, Bill Heater in Provo, MacArthur Heater in Mettler, and they do a flat rate, low cost. It's their community service. And I was shocked, and they do among the most adoptions in the state, but there are other attorneys that we work with as well. And we have it all set up. In fact, some of the services they require is that the adoptive parents provide sessions of grief counseling for the woman giving up her baby, which I thought was such a tender and sweet, supportive thing. Right. Anyway, so we have adoption services available. I will say very few women choose adoption. Very, very few.
Interesting.
Yeah, that has surprised me.
So is that a trend nationally, or?
Yes, very much so. And part of what you're doing in the pro-life work is you want to save that baby's life.
Right.
And you want to help that woman. So part of what we do is we show them ultrasounds so that they can see that baby and go, so often the reaction is, oh, it's a baby. Yes, fingers and toes and ears and noses, and then they bond with that baby. And
it makes a real difference, doesn't it?
And then we want them to fall in love with that baby so that they will then choose life. And so, like I say, most of them do keep their babies, but we do have wonderful adoption services available, and the legislature has been really good in working on good pro-adoption legislation over the years. It's been
so.
Really good.
What do you think the churches will ever get back into that? Catholic services.
Yeah, and I have to say the Catholics have been magnificent. Okay, if I could just do one shout out, the Catholics have been great. In fact, they just opened up one of their groups, just opened up a housing facility, a large group home in North Salt Lake for women who need a residence. They need a safe place to stay while they're going through their pregnancy. And they just opened that up, and that's open to women that are in unsafe circumstances, right, and need a safe place to go. And they, promote events. They show up at pro-life work. They've been tremendous, really tremendous.
Wow.
So I gotta give them just kudos.
Well, I like the way your group has approached this, because it just isn't one thing only, right? You're thinking about all of the.
And that's the power of the coalition. Some are doing emergency housing, some are doing, career and educational training, some are providing services, and we all coordinate, we all work together. So, we get a woman who, has some needs, and we reach out to everybody and say, okay, here's what the needs are. What can everybody do to help? Sometimes it's, I know a mechanic, right, that will fix her car so she can go to work, or I know a doctor who will help. And having everybody coordinate their work together has just been a game changer. It's really been wonderful.
Wow. Yeah, that's excellent. So we're about out of time, but what are some of the parting advice you'd give to
I will say this,
because I mean there's a lot of people concerned about this.
Yeah, right? and the majority are pro-life people.
Right.
But one of the things I always say is, people ask me why'd you get involved in this work, and I said, I want to be able to look at my children and my grandchildren and say, I knew that this terrible thing was happening, and I did something about it. And so I would really encourage everybody who has those feelings of wanting to help to do something. You know how I started? Crocheting Afghans.
Oh, did you?
I walked into a pregnancy resource center and I said, what do you do? And they told me, and I said, I like to crochet. Would you like Afghans for the mothers? That's how I started. I knew how to crochet. I had 4 little boys. I didn't have a lot of time, but I could crochet. So I would recommend that, anybody go to the website, prolifeutah.org, and pick your part, whatever it is. Your part may be sharing on social media. Your part may be donating, which, of course, that's what I do and we would love. But I think each of us needs to do something. Instead of just talking about it and thinking about it and worrying about it, each of us can do something. And by all of us working together, that's the way we bless lives and save children's lives and save women as well.
Yeah. Thank you. It's been nice talking with you, Merrilee Boyack. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks.
Thank you.